Yo, what's good, YouTube? So, I had a few people asking about the ABC's 1, 2, 3s, and this is the ABC deck profile. And at that moment, this is what I got to offer you. So, having your 2A Assault Cores, I don't think 3 is needed anymore, just with B and C. Having two of each piece is, I believe, the right ratio, or if you wanted to go 2-3-2. But if you know how to manage your pieces, you're perfectly fine. Then having Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. This is not what I played at the previous case tournament. The previous case tournament, I got bopped because of Super Poly and from time rules. Time rules are the new time rules that got issued out September 2nd. Nobody knew about it. Konami did not go ahead and say hello to all this, which was rather upsetting, but it's whatever. Then you got your 2B, 2C, then you got triple DD Crow. I think triple DD Crow right now is very integral for this format. Just being able to bop certain cards out of the graveyard, say a Ronin Totem, or say anything that's off of the branded deck, or Runerick, and not Runerick, Amatard Muffin, the tier element, because they have to be in graveyard in order to activate those effects. So being able to DD Crow will be phenomenal. Then you got your two Therian Regulus. I think two Regulus is perfectly fine. It is a strong card. It does everything you need to. And we've also got your one Union Driver. Union Driver is very strong, and it also can be upsetting to draw in your opening hand. As long as you know how to play around having it in your opening hand, then that's perfectly fine. And fuck off, Facebook. Facebook doesn't know what it's talking about. It's just saying hello and this, that, and the other. But having that driver, it's not the worst, but it's not the best. Then you go into your adventure package. You have your Griffin, and obviously the two Water Enchanters, your two Rites of Atmosphere, along with your Faithful and your Dracoback. These cards I still feel are very strong, but having them at 3 and 3 each is a bit of overkill. You want to see it, but you don't want to see it at the same time. And there's sometimes where I'll use the Griffin to be able to continue my combo off. Then we go into the Foolish Burial. Foolish Burial is really strong, just being able to either one, send the Water Enchantress to get that combo rolling so that anything else you have in hand is virtually gonna just go through. But also, if you open a Therian and being able to start comboing off even harder with your ABC pieces is amazing. Then you got another hand trap, which is good first or second, is this Forbidden Droplet. The card is still amazing no matter what. Just if there's a toad on board, you need to make sure you activate this first. But if you have enough resources to keep going, then go ahead and hold off on it. And to be able to hit the Splight Elf. Mystic Mine, it's an easy negate, and it's another way to help save you. So say, because this deck has the tendency to brick, being able to set, say, any piece and activate that mine, golden. At that moment, it can save you from so many different aspects and duels. Then you got your three Prosperities, which I believe is going to be short printed in the fucking tins just because of the sheer fact that this card is gas. This card has saved me one too many times just being able to get the cards that I need and be able to pop off. And we already know what that card does. Set Rotation. Set Rotation is an amazing card, especially with multiple field spells in the deck. You'll want to play this card, and there's a really cool combo, which I can do a combo video if anybody wants me to go ahead and go over that combo. You just have to like and be able to comment if you want to see that combo with the Set Rotation. It's phenomenal, and it gives you so much more advantage. And then one Terraforming, obvious because we play multiple field spells. I've cut Therian's Coliseum down to 1. Card's good, but I don't know if I need to see multiples of it. I was playing this card at 2 for quite a while, and it's just been kind of mid at multiples because I'll see 2 of it and I'm just like, God bless, I'm gonna die. This card I cut from my deck for a long while. I don't know if I want to keep it at 1. It's something I'm testing out just to see on how this build is going. I like this build a lot more and how strong it is. Then you obviously got your 3 hangers and then 2 skill drains. This card, don't even need it in the side. In the main board, this card shuts down so many different decks, so many different engines. If they're a combo heavy deck, card's amazing. No matter what matchup you're in, it is not a dead draw. It is freaking phenomenal. We'll go ahead and go into the extra deck here. You got your 3 Buster. I think 3 Buster is needed just because you can use it for your Pot of Prosperity, depending on the matchup that you're going into. During game 1, I don't normally get rid of a Buster, depending on if I know what my opponent's playing from a regional slash YCS or bigger tournament aspect. Then you got your Access Code Talker. This card is phenomenal. It's able to pop multiple different cards and be able to gain a huge amount. Apollo. Apollo is phenomenal. Just being able to go first turn with the Barricade Board Blocker and then being able to link off into this card. I can show you combos as long as you like and subscribe and be able to comment if you want to see those combos. The Barricade Board Blocker, as I just talked about, this card is phenomenal. It's able to add back different field spells from your graveyard to be able to continue the hand advantage along with the pluses and continuation from the following turn. Klara and Rishka, I did cut from my deck for a period, but I feel like it is very integral to the deck. If you do not open the ideal hand going second, it is able to help you combo off and go further within your plays, even in matches games 2 and 3. I also play Gloomy. This card, because of the amount of dark targets in the metagame right now, is phenomenal. This card can do so much work to help you get pieces out of your hand, to like for going into unicorn plays and everything else. Like, this card is just so very strong. And being able to just resurrect a negate or whatever else you need it to do for you. IP is obvious, chaining it with Buster to go into multiple different cards. Like, this card needs no examples. Nightmare Phoenix, still very strong card, being able to plummet through back row before you make your Buster and or Access Code or Apollo if they went first. And then I played 2 Nightmare Unicorn. Nightmare Unicorn is a very strong card. It's also a dark that helps you go into your Gloomy. Because the deck does not have any main deck darks besides the DD Crow, which DD Crow is going to be everywhere. So making sure that you are very cautious and making sure that you're able to play through those types of boards. Then you have Lina. Lina is also very strong right now. If you have any Charmers in your deck, like, they're all strong. I think the weakest Charmer right now is Ossa. But the Lina, there's so many light monsters right now, along with dark monsters, water monsters, and even because the Ash Blossom, Hida, the fire monsters. If you have ways to make certain Charmers, go for it. Go for it all day long. The only one that is the weakest link is the Ossa, which is the Earth Charmer. Then you need to play this boy. As much as I don't like this card, like, once upon a time, it was very strong. Now, it's just for those very situational aspects within the deck. Because this card It can special summon the card for you, but if it does get impermed, you are in a sad little world. But the only time you should be ever making this is if it's a last resort, and if it gets impermed and you don't have anything to back it up, then you are losing. Then one of the strongest cards in your extra deck is the Underworld Goddess. This card can negate a summon from the graveyard. Also, being able to link off an opponent's monster, then also being able to negate all monster effects on the field is phenomenal. Card is so strong. Like, it is probably the MVP of the deck. Like, this card needs to be played more and being able to be utilized more. There's so many ABC players I see that do not utilize this card or use it to its fullest potential. Because so many people forget about its blanket negate effect. And I'm just like, what? What are you doing? But this card has done so much work. And it also has the arrows for you too. It has 2. Possibly even 3. But it's whatever. People will do them. Now, Nibiru, I've cut it down to 2. This is not the same. I was playing 2 in Droll Lockbird for the case tournament. Droll Lockbird was not the answer for this past case tournament. The reason being is I figured I might see a little bit more Rogue. I might see some Dragon Link. I might see a few other decks. You know, didn't happen. Not at all. And that was rather upsetting. So, but 2 of this, it is definitely needed. It doesn't do a whole lot against Sprite. It can, but it's very situational. I don't like citing this card against that deck. I don't think it's correct. But having this card has put in so much work. Just from being able to get rid of back row, from being able to get rid of the monster lineup. It really just depends on what your hand is. Like being able to tie that with a mine and then turning off your mine, then being able to pair that with a freaking forbidden droplet is so clean and so crispy. Being able to annihilate your opponent with a rogue tier deck, like the look on their face or the amount of upset that they get is phenomenal. And if you lose, then at that moment, they beat a rogue deck. Congratulations. Hand clap. Then this card. This card is going to be very impactful. Anti-Spell Fragrance. Just because of that Runerick deck, I've played it a few times online. I never not played it in person. But the banishing of the top of your deck is frightening. Because if they hit a certain amount of pieces, you're gonna be depending on your other engines, and that's why I've seen a few ABC players cutting their adventure package. I think the adventure package is needed. There's technically 1 brick within it, because otherwise everything else gives you a combo starter. Griffin is a free body on board. Water Enchantress is another body on board. The Fateful is a body on board. The Dracoback is the only brick. And then Drinking Regulus. It can be a brick, depending. If you have the Adventure package along with the ABC package with the hanger, there's a very low percentage that you will not be able to discard a piece to be able to combo off. But it happens seldomly. But if you play the Gamma pack, like this past weekend, playing Gamma, it is a high impact hand trap. Do not get me wrong. But playing that driver, I had opened that card multiple times. From the locals before to that case tournament, I'm not about it. But this card against Runerick, along with Splight, along with Tier Element, this card is phenomenal. And against most other meta decks, this card is going to put in so much work. The only deck that it's not going to do really anything against is the Eldritch. Then 3 Appointer of the Red Lotus. This card, being able to have knowledge to your opponent's hand, it's phenomenal. It is absolutely crucial. I opened subpar at that case tournament in game 2. But being able to see what my opponent had, because I ended the board very, very subpar board. I ended on. I think a barricade board blocker and a buster because I could not go any further. But I was able to see my opponent's hand, and I was able to get rid of a Splite Jet. He had 2 triple tack talents, a red, and I think a Swap Frog, maybe? Because at that moment, he summoned Swap Bop. It was gone. And then at that point, he activates triple tacks, tag the Buster out, and go from that point. Like, you don't need to keep Buster on board, and if there's a hanger live, that gives you a plus at that aspect, and you're set to go. Along with 3 evenly matched. This card against Runerick, God bless. That deck is so freaking mean. Like, I watched my teammates play against this deck, and having this card along with Lightning Storm will be phenomenal for you. You just need to be very careful on how you proceed and go against that deck. Imperial Iron Wall is also another phenomenal tech, which Tony, my team vendor, was phenomenal with. Then the last card is this Red Reboot. There are certain trap cards you do not want to activate, and unfortunately it is at 1. I've debated between this card along with Pankratops, so I'll still keep playing with it and see how it goes. But if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please let me know, and I'll be able to help you out. Or if you can let me know what you guys think of the deck list, I'd be more than happy to listen and be able to go from that point. You guys have